Welcome back, guys. Been a while since I've been on YouTube, and today we're going to talk about this Bolens QT17 and see if we can't rebuild the drive shaft. So 2 days ago I was out in the garden and I was tilling the garden up a little bit, trying to keep the weeds down, and this thing started vibrating like crazy. And I knew it had to be that drive shaft, because when I got it, the drive shaft goes from about right here to the back of the where the tiller ends. Needed the U-joint bearings replaced on the back side. These drive shafts are hard to come by. Sorry, it's windy out here. I don't know if you guys can hear that, but these drive shafts are hard to come by. So what we're going to do is I'm going to take it off, and we're going to see if we can't take it apart and rebuild it. They're not really meant to be rebuilt, but what I did is I did a little bit of research, and I've got the parts here to try to make that happen. And we'll go over the part numbers later on once we get it off of the tractor and put it on the bench. So let's go ahead and get started. Alright, under the tractor, and I think what I got to do is loosen up this set screw right here on that collar. I should be able to pull this whole thing back and it'll drop down and come off. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Alright, so I got it out, and you can tell it is shot. Now this way is good, so I think I'm going to leave that alone. But this part here is shot. And you can tell it's been wearing there, and on the other side of this it's been wore off. So I'm at least going to get this cap out and the one that's on the other side, and we'll see about replacing it. See what those hardened pins look like. This is what I was talking about. The way they do this is they press this in, and then right about here, you probably can't see it, but they just hit it with a punch, and it locks that bearing cap on both sides, locks it in there. So I think what we're going to have to do is probably punch a hole in this bearing cap, and maybe we can pry it out, maybe not, I don't know. So we'll see. Alright, so I tried to hit it with a screwdriver. It's I couldn't get through it. I ended up putting a piece of metal in here and clamping it to hold this steady. I'm going to go ahead and try this bit here. See if we can get through this metal with it. Alright, got into it. Oh yeah, that pin is gone in there. I don't even see a pin inside of it. Interesting. So it seems like that's a good bit to use to get inside of there. But yeah, there's no pin or anything on this bearing. So I'm going to flip it over, I guess, and check the other side. Alright, so I got a hole in it, and I think I'm able to pound this pin down in there. Let me get this off of here. That pin has gone down in there a little bit. See if I can go a little bit more here. I'm going to open that hole up a little bit here. bigger punch too. Oh yeah. Well, I got one side. I think it pounded it into the next though. I wonder if I can just pound it right on through. I opened up that hole enough on the back side. I wonder if it'll just pound out. Yep, there it goes. Pounded right on through. Just got to open up that hole on one side and you can punch the whole bearing out. There's that pin and the other bearing. I think that's all I dropped. We'll punch this bearing race out here. Alright, that'll work. Okay, there it is. I'm going to go grab the parts and we'll try to put this thing back together. This piece here is pretty good. I don't see a whole lot of play or anything in that. I'm just going to leave it alone. We'll go ahead and put 2 new pins in here and we'll call it good. But I mean, you could do the same thing with this. Drill a hole in one side and then put you a punch in there and drive that pin all the way out. It'll push that other bearing cap out on this side. Okay, so I got looking at this. When I bought these bearings, been a while back, so I was trying to remember how this went. It came with 2 different size pins. So here's the bearing, the new bearing, and it came with this size pin, and it came with that. Same diameter, but one's longer. So I think what we got to do is put a long one and a short one in. And I think what happened here is, if you look how loose that is, you know, that shouldn't be that loose. However, I think what happened is, these are the pins that came out of it, right? They're the same size. Well, now I'm understanding why it did that, because somebody put the same size pins in, and you can see there's enough room for slop. There we go. There's enough room for slop to go back and forth on that. But if I take a new pin that's a short one and a long one, that is just the right size for this bearing cap to fit over and have no slop in that at all. So let me grab a caliper and I'll measure these for you and give you that. This part number on the bearing is an M661 made by Koyo. I'm sure there's other makes that you can get, but these are the ones I bought. I believe when I bought them there were 13 of them, and here they are, and they just came in a pack like this. I wanted to make sure I had enough if this ever happened again. That'd be good. So let me grab the calipers and I'll be right back. Alright, so we'll do the short one here first. There you go, exactly 3/8 of an inch. And 5/8 long on the short one. This will be the same, 3/8, and then 1 inch for the long one. So those 2 pins are what you need, along with that M661 bearing, 2 of those, or 4 of them if you're doing the whole thing. So I'm going to stick that in there just like that. Okay, and we'll take another one of the new ones and our piece here. Well, I may have to pull that back out and put it all in together. I thought it would go over, but it won't. Get out of there. Now these are hardened steel, so when you do this, you want to make sure you have hardened steel. So we'll go ahead and stick this down in there. And put this one in here. There we go. We'll stick a bearing on. We'll do this side first. It may not help so much. See if I can tap it together. There we go. Alright, now just turn it over. I'll pound that other one in all the way. That feels good to me. No play, just whatever little bit is in this side. That's much better. So I'll get a punch and I'll go ahead and punch that metal so that it drives it into the side of that bearing. Alright. Right there. What that does is it forces metal over. I'm going to do that on two sides. So we don't want this thing flying apart when we're out tilling the garden. Alright, turn it over, do that side. And then we'll throw it back on and see if that vibration goes away. All right. So much better. That's got to make a difference. All right. See if we can get this thing put on. Nice. Where's that Allen wrench? There it is. And we just tighten this down and should be good to go. When I say this thing rattled, every panel on this thing rattled like crazy. It was loud. You could feel the vibration just sitting on the seat. It was terrible. This has got to make a big difference. Get on there. All right. We'll see. It's a little loose in the back there on that spline. So I don't know. Maybe that's part of it too. We definitely know that those bearings were bad on the front. So hopefully that takes care of it. All right, let's see what happens here. So it's still vibrating. Not as bad though. Alright, so what I ended up doing is I moved the drive shaft back about a 1/2 inch, and that really helped a lot. It's still got a slight vibration, but I'm not sure exactly how to take care of that just because of the way that the design is. And when I got it, nobody had greased that spline, so I'm sure that spline is really worn on the tiller side. So much better, 100 times better. You know, you can't even, before I thought the panels were going to fall off, but you know, now it's nice and quiet. So I think I'm good to go for about another 3 years. It's about how long that one lasted me, maybe even more. We'll see. So I hope this helped somebody, and if you've got to try to repair one of these things, at least you have a decent idea now of how to do it. So I appreciate you watching. Thanks for sticking with me. Talk to you later.